Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappelville. Welcome back to our not Tomb Kings, courtesy of Titan Forge. 3D printed. We're gonna do the Anubis shaped Ushabti. The last one we did was Basti Bowman right here. So Armored Wolf, I hope that you can knock those out tonight. That weathering really does, and that's just in its flat form, right? Then once you get the bag and you get the folds in there and stuff, that really is neat to see. But the metal work too, right? It just really adds so much. Nice to see. So MTLs, I know you were talking about all the stuff that you're gonna have going on at the game castle there. So if anybody's in the Santa Clara area, please check out the game castle there. MTLs does all kinds of fun events, not necessarily only MetaZoo. And MToys, if you wanted to share anything that maybe stuff that you've been painting, because I think you've been painting some stuff here. And speaking of chariots, yeah, you wanted some chariots, didn't you, MToys? Nice to see you again there, Judge Dredd. Oh boy, boy, boy. Yeah, maybe that's not too much thinner. I need just a little touch of it there. Mostly again, I don't want to have to hit this thing too hard because we don't want to be snapping off things here. Yeah, needed, especially here. Needed that. Needed that for up here. And we'll do this here. So we're good to go there now, I think. Alright, now I'm going to get me some fast matte white in here. Maybe a touch of the radiant violet there. So think of this as almost like a pre-glaze here. Placebo, hopefully painting has been treating you well. And of course, Russian Blue Art, if you wanted to share anything that you've been working on in the chat, please go ahead and do so. Again, we're going to get just some of this going into the skin tone here. Then we got to get that violet sort of color in the shadows. All very much a dry brush action, right? Look at this. I mean, it's essentially just a dry brush, because less is more. More is way too much when it comes with the oils, right? We always are looking for less paint on there. It does, not only does it kind of, okay, it doesn't take as long to dry. Oh, by the way, this will be dry by this time tomorrow. I know I've been saying that with each of these Ushabti here, but just throwing it back out there again, that by this time tomorrow, this guy will be certainly dry. Part of it is, again, the minimal amount of paint that we're using here. Less is more. More is always way too much. And actually, I'm just reading the chat while I'm doing this here too. So that's the other nice thing about this, is that it's again a nice light brush stroke. Not particularly taxing to do this, especially if I can read the chat while I'm doing this. So that kind of speaks to maybe it's not all that difficult to be able to do this kind of thing. Judge Dredd, maybe we need to have we need to come out with the, what is that, Axe or something like that, right? They came out with all those products. We need to come out with linseed oil brotherhood products like that, skincare products, hair care products, clothing line. Yeah, we need to do that. The clothing line will just be pre-stained with Egyptian violet and phthalo colors and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of it's done the staining for you, so you don't have to worry about spilling stuff on it because it's already on there. And you didn't see that way. When someone says, "Hey, you spill paint all over your clothes," you say, "No, no, no. That is that's how they came. These are clean. Yeah, I didn't do anything to this. This is how they come from the store." Oh, I think we're caught up. I think we are caught up. Yes. Yes, I think we are. So, Grand Oracle, I hope that you're doing well. Now, is this going to be another, I assume, another weekend of scout activities and other things? Oh, that's right. You wanted a catapult, not a chariot. Now, does anybody have anything that, well, essentially a casket of skulls? Because that's the other thing. Well, doesn't really do very much. I always loved it because it was such a neat looking thing. It did absolutely nothing in any game ever. Grand Oracle, it was now when it does start doing those, well, what would you say, the more acute angles, right, or the shallow angles? Sorry, it can be, you can start to see some stripiness going on. But I'll tell you, for those vertical surfaces, as we like to call them here, that it's kind of impressive, right? Yeah, Grand Oracle. I apparently there's supposed to be snow here tonight, overnight. We'll see what happens. Again, that's, you know how those things go, right, Grand Oracle? Everything gets canceled. There was people buying stuff at the store today. It's like, so you don't have a sink that emits this thing called water? Do you seriously not have enough food in your house to feed you for, I don't know, 24 hours, maybe 36? That just seems kind of weird. So I'm sure there's lots of places doing all the panic buying and stuff. Yeah, Artem Michael, well, that's not going to happen here. Because here it's supposed to be a wee bit colder there. Yeah, total 420. It was just so bizarre. Now again, we got to get that some of our violet in there too. Right? Let's we don't want to forget about that. Total 420. Ooh boy, French toast. I wonder. No, I was just about to say, hey, could I do that in the air fryer? I did do some more air fryer stuff. Actually, I did carrots in the air fryer for the first time. Wasn't sure what to expect out of that, but they looked a little funky, but boy, did they taste really good. So I just count that as a win. And I'm going to try and get me some of the golds in here now real quick. Well, just the initial parts of the gold here. Sorry about that there. I know my sister's house, for whatever reason, the water pipe that goes to her house is outside. So therefore can freeze when it gets frosty enough. Because I think they're talking about, I don't know, to apparently minus 10 on Sunday night or something like that. Again, we'll see if any of that actually happens. So sorry about that, Arity Can Wife. Everybody please give Arity Can Wife just a little, some thoughts right there. So send some good thoughts Arity Can Wife's way. I know you were wanting to get out there. And all of this stupid stuff just kept preventing you from doing that. So Grand Oracle, sorry that you also had some Easter eggs. Whoops. Here, let me get this thing off of there. We don't need this on there. Yeah, Arid, I'm just thinking, so yeah, until the carrots worked out, I don't know, to me they worked out really, really well. I was very happy about those. Now we'll get me some of the, there's the asphaltum, and maybe we'll just mix some of this with it. Start hitting some other things here real quick like. So Irid, everybody please give Irid Can't Wife a follow too. So Irid, I mean, I know it seems weird to be kind of focused on this, but hopefully you can kind of do some streams and just kind of maybe get a little taste of that out of your mind there. So again, I know it's a little bit weird to be thinking of that right now, but hopefully you can get a chance to maybe do some streams and just kind of get a bit fresher there. Let's see. Yeah, Grand Oracle, I'm telling you, boy, are there any good insurance companies out there? Because, well, you know what happened here. Don't need to tell you about that. Still dealing with that months later. So and of course, when it involves the structure in which you reside. So yeah, Arid, everybody please give Iridican Wife a follow if you could. And hopefully Arid will be able to do some stream. I almost said tomorrow, on Saturday. Again, Arid, crazy as it sounds, obviously that was my one refuge during the last 2 years, really. So I hope that it can also be a similar thing for you too. So yeah, Grant Oracle, sorry that that's one of those no bueno surprises. Yeah, that's for sure. So sorry again that you had to kind of deal with that too. Again, sorry that everybody's got 2024 not off to the rousing start we were all looking for. That's for sure. That's a boy. Yeah, see, Grand. Well, I just all of those kind of things. They just and they wonder why none of us want to even look at that stuff or deal with any of that stuff. Because, well, they just sort of they make it as painful as possible, don't they? Alright, so now we got some of our lighter stuff going there. Well, I'm going to have to get some more of the fast mount white out here too pretty soon. Irid, I'm at least glad for that. Definitely glad that's happening at least. Now, I did do some more sheets of this, amongst other things. Now, I had to just use the terracotta Sculpey. Definitely not ideal, but I just didn't have enough of the gray extra firm to do all the sheets that I needed, so we did some more. We did some more of this because I need to base a whole bunch of things, including that, what the heck is it? The War Sphinx. Again, I think it's a bit on the small size from what I painted years ago for my Shmoom Kings there. More of our light here. Again, not too much underneath this because, well, it would be in shadow, wouldn't it? How would this not be in shadow? All doing this with regular oil paints. I'll show you the Winsor Newton, Williamsburg, Gamlin brands that we use here. The 37 mil tubes, those are kind of generational wealth, right? Well, I know Grand Oracle, and you've got plenty of when it colors there that will probably bequeath to future generations of oracles. Did we get all of our? For the most part, the violet is in a little bit more on this face here, maybe on this side. Okay. All right, now let me just do something real quick on, say, the halberd and such. Fast map. We'll drop some center into that. Maybe a touch of Prussian blue in there. Touch of Prussian blue, maybe a little more. Where do we want this to go? I think we want that here. The light's gonna go there. Light here. Light there. Light there. Reverse that over here. Ah, look at that. Nothing but precision brush strokes here. Absolutely nothing but precision brush strokes. Throw it like this, and then we'll lighten that too. Yeah. Now we're going to get the paint out of the brush. You're just taking a paper towel to it, like so. Making sure we've got as much of the cleaner out of there as we can. Wow, all of a sudden, that certainly looks like something a little more precise than what we just dropped down there, doesn't it? Looky there. Doesn't take very long. I mean, you can see what we had from the start here. Oh, yeah, look at this. Looky there. Less is more. More is way too much. Now you hashtag no layers. Hashtag no layers. So Artemichael, I know you had 44 terrain pieces done by last stream. How many more did they want? I forget how many more they said they wanted. 100 more or something like that. It was I believe it was a significant number. I believe there might have been 1 or 2 more terrain pieces they wanted you to do. So when I'm doing my 10th stream anniversary, you'll still be working on that project, right? Because they'll just keep adding to it. So yeah, 6 stream anniversaries from now, you'll be able to tell me just how many terrain pieces you've worked on. And they made that facetious as it might sound. It might not be all that far off, right, Artemichael? So Grand Oracle, yeah, I'll try to get BambiCam fired up so that we can see. There's something that should, and I've got it just in normal mode because even in normal mode, it was only going to take about 3 hours, and we'll certainly be streaming longer than 3 hours. So we should be able to see the whole thing print out here. Now I still haven't messed with the top hat or anything like that, or the AMS or anything else. Another spool showed up today. I just want to print out some terrain that I can use for videos, for streams, for photography right now, and then maybe we get into the snazzier stuff of trying to make that new stuff work. But first, yeah, I wanted to get as much Harad/Easterling stuff printed out as I could. So yeah, Artemichael, I thought they had pumped up the amount there that needed to be done by a significant amount. You know what? I'm going to get me some of the light down there. Now again, you can see how we let this all mix together, right? And all mixed together there. Pretty darn simple. Just indigo. Alright, with some of our fast mat white. Yeah, let me do this. So Zip Zap, my favorite, I have to say my favorite, what would you call it, texture paste, if you want to call it that, is actually where I'd take the, what is that, the tile grout. Yes, the tile grout, mix it with glue, and a little bit of water. No, not a little. Yeah, just glue. That's it. And tile grout and regular wood glue. I absolutely love how that stuff is. It's fantastic. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Yeah. Let's just lighten this up here while we're thinking about it. Let's get to this stuff too. So yeah, just tile grout, and you mix that up with the water. Or the glue. The glue kind of acts as your water. It thins it down a little bit. It increases the adhesion. And boy, there is nothing as strong as that tile grout. Holy smokes! Yeah, the other texture pastes are just very wimpy by comparison to the tile grout. Wow, that's some strong stuff. Well, I mean, it's designed to be used in bathrooms, right? It gets hit by water all the time, so it is some stout stuff. So yeah, Zip Zap, I don't remember how many basing videos ago it was, because I think I just did basing technique 70, I think. Yeah, that was with all the flowers and everything. That is where That's where old One Eye was transformed into Blossom here. Yeah. And all the foliage around our little sleepy orc right there. Yeah. But it's really fantastic. And the nice thing is you can mix up as much as you might need at the time. This way you don't necessarily have to worry about, is it going to dry out in the container, start getting more solid, whatever. So yeah, that's another upside to just making it yourself. Now you can see we're just throwing a little bit of dry brushy stuff here on our skin. The lightest parts are letting some of the indigo work its way in. You can see it on the end of the brush right there. It's clearly getting on the brush, which that's good. That's what we want. Okay, working at more of the lighter color here. Again, just doing the all-important dry brush. Hashtag no layers. Has there been any layers here? There have been no layers. This is practically a straight up white here almost. So there's no gentle steer step or anything like that. Now, I know it's most folks when they're using oils for the first time, there's a tendency to go, oh, okay, these are just super slow drying acrylics. Therefore, there will be layers. And that doesn't end well. Doesn't even start well, actually. But that's just something that you get used to. Got to give yourself a chance to get used to the oil paints. Of course, we always recommend doing the color charts first. Get a little idea that, well, okay, something like this, right? The lighter colors in oil paints, well, those are super opaque. Those are what's going to cover. The darker colors, nah, not so much. So Zip Zap, I actually tried. Now, of course, I was just getting it on Amazon. I might, next time if we are at a Menards again, I might just try to get another backup thing there. But all they would send was the pre-mixed stuff. Yeah, I wanted to get the just the powder because that's how I'm used to plaster, right? Durabond 20, Durabond 45, Durabond 90. And just the powder, right? Mix it up myself, but no, it had to. The only way I could get, at least by Amazon, was just if it was the pre-mixed variety. So again, not really what I wanted, but it did the job. Did the job pretty well. I did light here. If I did light here, then maybe we will do that again over here. Fine. We'll do that here. You get a little bit of light on his hand and over here. I am just doing a simple little sort of a dry brushy thing here. All this stuff is all wet into wet. Very much so. No, that's too much. I will take my blending brush and I will take some of it away. Now is about we get some dark here on that halberd. I'm going to say indigo and Van Dyke brown. That'll make it dark, all right. There, here's the Van Dyke brown. A little more thinner, just break that down. So Zip Zap, great to see as always. I hope that the new year treats you well. Hopefully it's I was just going to say, I hope it's being nice to everybody, but we know it is not necessarily being nice to everybody so far. Again, Easter eggs are not, they're not supposed to be in January. So here's hoping there's no more of those. Now I'm just going to take this here. So see, we position that dark over there. We will take that now. Boom. Right, and oh look, we got more over here. We do the same deal. How hard was that? Didn't have to be hard, does it? Does not have to be difficult. There seems to be quite the industry around difficulty. Yeah, there seems to be most products that I see. It's like, here, this will make your life more complex and more work. I'm into things that kind of do the opposite. Call me just lazy that way. But I like it when I can just do, well, that. That's again that is something I like to be able to do right there. Let me get some of the thinner off of that, and we'll do the same here. We're going to get some of the dark there. It doesn't increase just value contrast. That's an edge contrast there. To have the metal, if you don't have edge contrast, well, once again, not going to look a whole lot like metal. You need those sharper edges. I'm going to get a little darker under there too, and then I think we're going to make some something like that. Now, is there I'm guessing that there should be a playoff game on Saturday. Is that the one in KC where the chefs are going to be playing in 5 below weather, something like that? Because I believe there's at least one playoff game to Saturday. So let me see. I'm just trying to take a guess at who the chefs might be playing. I know it's supposed to be -5 degrees there, and that is that's not Celsius, that's Fahrenheit. So it is 5 below zero, not about 20-something degrees. Let me see. They wouldn't be playing Buffalo because Buffalo actually ended up winning it. Maybe they're playing Miami. Ooh, now that would be really interesting. Seeing Tua playing in -5 below degree weather. That could be fascinating. I think they're playing Cleveland. Maybe they're playing the Browns. Hobby Nut, it's pretty much, again, as a lifelong watercolorist and such, I only had a palette of maybe 8 colors, 10 tops. So, that the list is short. The list of allies grows thin. Now, it's a very, very short list. Pretty much what you see here on the palette, right? The Terra Rosa, the Indigo, the Van Dyke Brown, Mars Black, Egyptian Violet, Prussian Blue, Phthalo Green, Perlene Black. That's that really dark green. So it's pretty much the same colors all the time, no matter what. And of course, if you look at the Harad stuff that I've been painting those Harad figures for years. Literally, some of them even in acrylics. And people cannot tell that they were painted years apart, some with entirely different paint mediums. Again, acrylics versus oils. Because you fundamentally keep things simple. That's with the no layers approach. That makes it very, because you don't have to remember, well, what did I use to mix this? I'm like, okay, yeah, it was probably this red. I might have darkened it with some blue, or maybe I darkened it with Van Dyke Brown or something. Probably used brilliant yellow pale to lighten it up, or maybe radiant yellow or something. So that does keep things nice and simple. Like here again, this is a typical skin tone here, actually, with the Terra Rosa. But it's working very nicely here for some of this sort of wrapping, strapping, whatever you want to call it. Working out well for that. We will do some of that over here. And of course, with that whole pre-glaze, and this was a little different approach to the pre-glaze, right? Because we have the darker primer. But knowing that, chuck some indigo on there, lighten it up, do the violet pinline wash there. Kind of the same all the time. Right? We know what we're going to get out of that. Boy, Hobby Nut, we try to tell folks that, you can save a whole lot of money. Because, essentially most tubes of oil paint, especially like the Indigo, Van Dyke Brown, Terra Rosa, Perlene Black, Indigo, those cost about the same amount as these self-spilling jars of contrast paint. And again, most people will tear through one of these in a week. A 37 mil tube of oil paints, it could take me years to get through that. For an average regular person, their great grandkids might still be using it. And of course, not self-spilling, and it's always as long as you close the cap, it's never going to dry out inside that tube. So it's virtually invulnerable. So borat, it is very short. Maybe, I want to say 10 legit staining colors. Now, we find that some colors, like say the naphthol red, if you leave it on there long enough, maybe you get a little bit of genuine staining out of that. But when it comes down to it, your phthalo colors, indigo, Egyptian violet, also, what's the other? Dioxazine. Yeah, that's kind of the regular version of Egyptian violet there. The Mars Black will do that. Black spinel as well. Anything that is light or opaque, not so much. The only opaque color I know of that has any sort of staining power, that would be Terra Rosa. Indian yellow is Indian yellow and Egyptian violet are two of the most powerful staining colors. And you can mix those too. Now remember here on this bust, this was phthalo green and Indian yellow mixed together to make that very warm green. This is just straight up phthalo green over here. This is perylene black. That's that dark green, but you can see how muted that is by comparison. So the vast majority of colors do not have staining ability. And again, anything that has a white in it, well, not going to have that. It will have zilch when it comes to the potential of staining. Yeah, Hobby Nut, it seems like every time I go on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, maybe not so much lately, but it seems like there would be somebody's, was that Nuln Oil or Devlin Mud or something like that, would just be spilled across their miniature, their table, their palette, their keyboard, with lots of sad face emojis. It just seemed like every day I would notice something like that. And that's when I started using the term self-spilling, because it seemed like they were designed to do that. It's not like they would want you to buy more, is it? Like so much Alienza. I see that you also have Sculpey texture base. It's like, I'm not familiar with yours. It's that dwarf texture roller. Yours is from Green Stuff Roll, right? It's like, yeah. Oh, wait a minute, there's people watching. Thank you so much, Alienza. Appreciate you being here. So Hobby Nut, now I did not curse you. I did not jinx you or anything like that. You cannot retroactively say, uh-oh, wait a minute, he jinxed me. He called them self-spilling containers. Now we put hexes on people's printers, not intentionally, but yeah. If you have a 3D printer, the last thing you ever want to hear from me is, I hope your prints go really well. Because if you have an FDM style, you will be eating spaghetti. And if you've got a resin printer, there will be some kind of weird, just some kind of bizarre error that's never happened before. So something weird and exotic will happen to your printer if I say good luck with your printing. We have another Arid in the house. Aridican Games, how you doing? Everybody please give Aridican Games a follow. So Aridican Games, I hope that the sculpting goes very well. I know that you've been doing a lot of that, and I know you've got yourself too. You're looking to be obviously printing all those nifty things that you've sculpted on stream. If you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead and do so. AD, what's funny is that I actually have videos on the Patreon page that basically discuss using those as a way to kind of get used to the oil paints. Because what I like to do with those is I mix them with a lighter opaque color, and then they're almost semi-translucent in some ways, like what we do with our oil paints. So Airticant Games, if you want to share your YouTube vids there, please go ahead and do so. And of course, if you're going to be streaming over the next few days or whatever, you got a time in mind, you want to let folks know, that would be fabulous too. What are we doing? We're going to come back with our... actually, I'm going to mix Van Dyke... Oh, yeah, I'm going to mix Van Dyke Brown and the Phthalo Green together. That'll be very fun. That's... Yeah, HobbyNet will... You always want to say, well, something easy, right? But, what necessarily is easy? Now, we have a ton of vids on the YouTube channel. We did a lot of YouTube Live. This is painted entirely with contrast paints. Remember, we were talking about the adding those lighter colors that are opaque to the stuff. Well, we got Vulpes pink here. The tattoos are all, what is that stuff? Leviathan blue. We got Arcanian green or something like that over there. Snakebite leather in some of these. So yeah, this was all painted with contrast paints. With, again, just the slight addition of a few lighter colors to give the opacity, and that's it. Now, Airticant Game, definitely post them because, again, it's always fun for folks to get a chance to see all kinds of fun and new things. Yeah, AD, that was really, speaking of 3D prints, that was before I could 3D print myself. That was actually printed for me. Maybe something, I guess, smaller. And HobbyNut, actually, do you have any of the basing bits from Make It Epic? Maybe just something like that, because they're, okay, if it has a little bit of mischief or something like that, well, all right, it was just a basing bit, and you could still potentially use it. So maybe a little thought process like that. Now we got to get some of that magenta stuff into the skin tone here. Oh, fine. We'll use some of this. We're going to chuck that into there, and then some of our violet here, and dirty little magenta time. Let's see what this is going to do here. Maybe a little bit more of the violet in that, so it's not too light too quickly. Getting some thinner, breaking this all down. There you go. One thing to keep in mind with the Indian yellow, the Egyptian violet, those, as Grand Oracle discovered in some research, those are essentially two of the slowest drying colors. They give cadmiums a run for their money as far as the slowness in drying. So it's just a little something to be aware of. Still going to use them. It's just, well, again, that's something we have to be made aware of. Well, HobbyNut, yeah, something that might only take a few hours to print, so you just don't have to kind of wait too anxiously, I guess, for too long. Speaking of which, here, let me, now you can really see the difference in the kitties, right, with the green in the shadows versus the violet in the shadows here. Now I'm just looking to see if I just want to bring up Bambi Cam here because I need to, oops, I already passed it up there. So what is Bambi doing right now? Should be printing. Oh, look at that. Wow, only an hour and 13 minutes left. I think this might be one of the final pieces for this building, at least as far as what I'll be doing on this printer here. Boy, Borat. I'm going to see if I have that up here. Well, actually, it's, oh gosh. It's ESKICE. And that's on my mini factory, Borat. It's, it's ESKICE miniature. And he has tons and tons of stuff. I mean, just all kinds of things. How's about we welcome in our Raider Cheese Whiz? How you doing? But that's making me hungry. Seriously, sorry that I see Cheese Whiz, and first thing I do is I get hungry. Now these skinny guys look kind of hungry too. These are 3D printed from Titan Forge. Cheese Whiz, how the heck are you doing? Happy New Year. So Grant Oracle says that Warbear miniatures are also good as far as bolt action stuff goes. But yeah, this is, again, ESKICE. Check that out. That's on My Mini Factory. And I do believe they have the French stuff. He has early war, late war, all kinds of great stuff. So Cheese Whiz, we are painting. Where's our... here he is. We'll set this off to the side. We'll grab this guy. So we're doing some more fabulous 3D printed Ushabti from Titan Forge. So Cheese Whiz, it finally, I think, a week before Christmas was when they finally let us in there. It was done, and then they locked us out. Before then, the electricians came in. Then they locked us out again. Then the final inspection guy came through, and finally we got in there. So it is at long last constructed now. Only a matter of weeks ago. So yeah, and again, of course, Cheese Whiz, if you want to share any link stuff that you've been doing in the chat there, please go ahead. I think you saw some of the ornaments that we were doing. Ooh, check these out. Now, there's actually 3 different versions. So you got Kitty, Anubis, and Crocodile. And each one has 3 different weapon options. So here's the 2. And there's your great weapon. So it covers all the different weapon options. And like I said, there are 3 different critter types. So you've seen the first 2. Here's the Crocodile. Right, so we haven't done the great weapon version yet, but you got hand weapons, you got bow, and also too they have fantastic basing bits like the snakes, these shields here. Let's check this out. This is again from Titan Forge. This thing right here that he's standing on, so that's really fantastic. AD, I have yet to use Mod Podge yet. I have a bunch of it, still haven't had a chance to use it. I have heard that it smells. That's actually that's a mild version of what I've heard the description of that. Yeah, I've heard it described less lovingly than that. It smells like other types of stuff too, in addition to death. Well, that's great. That's great, Cheese Whiz. Again, everybody, please give old Cheese Whiz a follow. And again, if you want to share links to what you were doing there in the chat, I know you just finished, so you'd have to ski-daddle off to that photo booth right quick. You know what? We need to get some more of that over here. Let's do some of that. Oh, and then in the ears here, we're going to get some of the, again, this dirty magenta here into the ears. All right, well, Hobby Nut, you have a good one. Have yourself a good one. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Yeah, Lethal Shadows, that was one of the things that was in the box that, well, we thought was not going to end up here. So I was really glad that that box did show up. And of course, yeah, Lethal Shadows, it'll be nice to know just exactly what's going on with that, right? And not having to kind of be watching it. I mean, as fun as it is to watch the campfire, right? And again, also too, Lethal Shadows, if you want to talk about the imperfect bits, again, because sometimes with 3D printing, it's 90%, maybe it's even 95 or even 99% perfect. But if it is not perfect, it does not go out for Lethal Shadows, but you can get yourself some of those. If you think, maybe I want to just do some sculpting on this, conversion on this, or it's, geez, if it has like 2% of a fail on it or something like that, I can just paint that. So yes, Lethal Shadows and I, that first day, we said, we have got to get Bambi Cam as a chat point type of thing, so people can say, what's Bambi doing? So that will be Bambi Cam. And it's pretty handy because, well, in some way it is like watching a campfire though, right, Lethal Shadows? Oh, and right now it's not even printing on Sport. I mean, it wasn't the biggest piece in the world, but yeah, it said, oh, I'm going to do this in 3.5 hours. So I said, I'll be streaming longer than that. So we just left it on normal mode. So yeah, instead of me having to grab the phone and show it that way, we'll be able to show what Bambi's doing, just like our usual way with our typical scenes. Now, remember we were talking about that green? Ooh, we have our phthalo green here. Let's not forget this. I'm gonna grab me some of the phthalo, some Hansa yellow here. Ooh, that is there's an intense green. So yeah, Mecca, we were talking about intense colors. Well, we just made a very intense green here. All it took was again a little bit of the Hansa yellow and some of the phthalo green. Those are two intense colors. We just mix them together. Yeah, Lethal Shadow. Even the print that I start tonight, that can just go overnight, so it's not gonna be a rush. And I don't think it'll be more than say a 6 or 7 hour print, anyways, because well, it's just so darn fast naturally. There's some nice intense greens there. I know we got a little bit of green we want to put over here where this leaf is. A little bit of green over there. More of that yellow, a little bit more of this here. Lighten up these couple here, especially the ones towards the top of his neck here. These guys here, then we'll have to let that set and we'll come back and do some more of the darks there. Actually, there's too much paint on that brush here. Let's get rid of some of that. Also, we'll thin it down a smidge there too. Yeah, let's get this. Let's get this. Now we do have, oh, here's a couple of the pieces of terrain that we have been printing out. And again, that's this is even in sport mode right here. This is from the printing goes ever on. So really, really worked out fabulous. And here's another nice big old piece right here. That worked out very well. I think that entire piece maybe took that Bambi 6.5 hours, something like that, maybe. And oh, and then there was all the trees that we printed. We had a blast printing those. So a little bit of the green again into our golds here. Why? Because we have all this bluish stuff surrounding all of this gold. If it's going to reflect on there, if it's gold, what does yellow and green make? Or yellow and blue makes green, right? So, or as we used to call green, yellow, blue, number whatever, or blue, yellow, depending on which way that color was kind of tinted. Because there are greens that are more of a blue. That's generally most folks refer to it as teal. And then you've got some greens like this that are much more towards the yellow. So this is again much more of a yellowish green right here. It almost looks fluorescent right there on that blade. And again, at Lethal Shadows, if you want to tell folks where you'll be at ECCC and PAX and such. Now let's take the sap green. We'll mix that with our Van Dyke brown, and that is going to be here a little bit more of that sap green. Yeah, this is kind of a nurgly greenish brown right here. That's for sure, and that is going to go. It's kind of a even more of a pin line here. That's just going to go on some of the some of this here, so it kind of stains it almost. by using, see, we went Wappel there. So instead of just a darker brown, we're actually using this crazy sort of greenish dark color here. And by the way, we're only 2.5 hours in. 2.5 hours ago, there was no paint on any of this anywhere. And that is, again, courtesy of the power of oil paints, where we, again, no layers. Hashtag no layers. Why? Because we're going to do that. And yeah, we've got enough paint taken out of that brush. We're going to take this brush and we were going to see that. Look at that. That went from a really hard edge to not a hard edge. We're going to do the same over here. Again, this is a nice soft brush here. Look at that. So remember how hard of an edge that was? Not anymore. So again, this is one of the Lethal Shadows brushes, and we are hoping to have a nice little collection of those at Adepticon. We'll kind of do a bit of a pre-order thing, so we have an idea just what we need to make, and then there'll be some additional ones that we'll bring along to Adepticon, of course, so folks can get them there. I want to try and get me a little more light here. So mostly indigo as far as the skin tone on our Ushabti here. And again, this is the Anubis form. Let's see if we can get a little bit more light down there too. And we'll be certainly painting some more hack and slash stuff on the stream soon. We just gotta kind of get out from under January here, and hack and slash has lots of new stuff coming, lots and lots of new stuff coming. There we are. We need a little bit of light there on the underside of that blade, maybe some here too, maybe chuck a little bit of light over here too. Let's get some more down here. And I might also come back with, again, some straight up indigo, I think, in some of these shadow areas again. Yeah, right now, mostly just going with the fast matte white, because with each and every time we touch the brush to this, all of that paint, which is all wet, by the way, it just mixes. It just mixes there, so that's why we don't need to have a whole bunch of layers and glazes and all that kind of stuff. Just not necessary. By this time tomorrow, this will be completely dry also. Yeah, all of these have been all completely dry definitely within 24 hours, but more like 12, 13 max on all of these. Big reason that happens is because we are not chunking on paint here like we're using a bulldozer. We're not using a ton of paint here, so that keeps that down very nicely. We don't need a bunch of layers of paint, because all we have to do is, as you saw with that halberd there, the great weapon, all we had to do is chuck a little paint on there, grab another brush, push that around. We call that sometimes the old plop and push. Again, a little bit more of the light here on the toes. This here. Let's lighten this up a smidge over here too. So yes, you can get STL files from Hack and Slash Mate, and I think we have at least one of them up on the YouTube channel. We also, again, if you want to go back and check those out, they're again saved as highlights here on the Twitch channel. I can't quite reach the Kathy Goblin miniature from here, but again, that is also one that we painted on stream. Well, that should be very fun there, Hack and Slash. Well, It would be so horrible to have object source lighting opportunities in ethereal stuff, wouldn't it? It's not like this is a you could never say this is an object source lighting channel now, could you? So thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the GoFundMe campaign. That has again been a huge help, especially with all the subsequent crazy stuff that happened in addition to the regular earlier crazy stuff. So we appreciate that very much. So yes, doing some nifty little ethereal light type things. That would be very, very fun. I'm gonna see if I can't give me a little more light right on there. Some over here. I think he's actually got himself a gold ring. We'll go back and mess with that too in a bit here. Let me see if I can't also. That's our lightest light there. We need some of that here on this, the weapon blade. A little bit of reflective light down there too. Why not? I think this thing, no, we could get a little bit lighter there. Alright. I think we can, yeah, let's get that edge there. And now we have to do a little something with this. There is not much happening right there. Okay. Yeah, that works. That works there. Actually going to go back. This is that more yellowish blue. Work that down here on his chest there. We haven't done too much with that. I kind of wanted to see how the lights we were playing on, because if we make this too light, then these highlights, they won't seem all that light. So Arda Michael, how many days now did it start out flat and then warp days later? I'm trying to think if the Daz air dry. I guess the Daz air dry clay has warped a little bit. I don't know how much moisture is in that Scopy air dry clay, and if it does sort of work a bit like the Daz air dry clay works. Now, thank you so much, Lethal Shadows. Appreciate you being here, and I'll shoot you a message, let you know how that stuff goes. So that's probably something I'm thinking maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I think. Well, this spool will be long gone by then, but some of the craziness hopefully will be taken out of the mix there by then. I'm going to try and lighten this up a little here. Maybe. Still got to come back in with our indigo in some places too. So yeah, that was one of my concerns there, Arda Michael, was that it might do the warping. Now I know, oh gosh, Mel, the terrain tutor, he loves his air dry clay. I know he would actually put a wet paper towel on it so that it would dry at a slower pace, and he said, I think that was more about shrinking, but maybe that also helped with warping too. Now back to the Linus light here, because we've got the golds up here on his neck that we want to try and do. And then we have some of these. Ooh, that was too much there. That's okay. We can go back and blend some of the green back into that. No problem. So again, Lethal Shadows, appreciate you being here. Again, we appreciate all the raids. Anyways, that's 12-14 here now. Maybe a little bit of the light along the edge of some of these panels here. Maybe even a little bit on the back of his head and the back of the ears. Like that. Now this certainly needs to also be a bit lighter here, so I'm going to change this around. Yeah, no layers there, right? Hashtag no layers. This needs to have another one of these. Again, it's a cylinder here, and it kind of alternates light, dark, light, dark. I'll grab our little blending brush right here. And do that. And now I think we need to get a little bit of our light over there. Actually, I'm going to go a little further with this. We'll come back. I think, yeah, we'll reestablish that darker edge there too. And that'll also give us the edge contrast we're looking for, because there's value contrast. That's a thing, but there's certainly more to contrast than just light versus dark. I mean, it says it right there in the book of Wappel, of course. And it even says it here in sticker form. Poof, there you are. Again, a whole bunch of these are going to be at Adepticon as well. So stickers, geez, I've still completely forgotten to put those on the miniature cases. I haven't done that yet. To literally just plaster that thing with Book of Wappel stickers. I'm going to try and lighten some of this up here, some of this over here. And I think we can still make this even lighter. Here, let me get some of the thinner to break down the fast matte white, which sitting out on the palette a while, it's going to start to get kind of thicker there. We can still make that lighter. I thought so. Yep. The thinner that we're using is a very high quality, odorless thinner, and by high quality stuff, I mean it's high quality, not cheap, nasty dime store stuff or that you would get at a Home Depot or something like that. And we use very little of it. We're not using thinner to clean the brushes. The thinner thins the paint. That's what it's there for. We have a brush cleaner that does that a whole lot better for a whole lot less money. So again, here's our thinner. And all it is, it's a water bottle cap. That's it. That's it for the thinner. And then, of course, here is our brush cleaner. Oh, look at that. It even works for dried acrylics, too. Kathy actually used to use that for her acrylic paints. I think I got some more of that actually coming this way, too. Now, in a paint, well, let's say, okay, you get some of the paint on your hands, whatever, no big deal. Dish soap. Dish soap in some warm water, and in about 30 seconds, all that stuff will be, you won't have any paint on your hands anymore, so nothing to worry about there either. And of course, we're all doing 3D printing, and well, just other world events means we all have pretty much gloves now, nitrile gloves. So if you're that concerned about it, just wear some nitrile gloves. It seems like people wear them anyway when they're just working with acrylics. I would suppose that's just to keep the It's actually to protect the miniature from them rather than the other way around. I'll come back with a darker green there, I think. Yeah. Trying to get my little light dot on the eye. There we go. I'm going to get the edge of these little chips and such. They really like to do this on the weapons, don't they? I was tempted to bring out that blending brush again. Not just yet. Again, so AD, I'm really glad that the Sotar is behaving, doing what you need it to do. I might try to lighten this up a little more up here. Let me see what happens. If that is too much, we can just, again, knock that right back down. Might try to work a little bit more on my darkest dark in here. Well, I'm just going to start doing some indigo on the on our Anubis. Anyway, you know what? A little bit of the Van Dyke brown too. Whoops, not that much. So in fact, a little more of the indigo here. Now that's good, AD. Again, I hope that maybe you more and more being able to get back to the regular stream times when you would want to be doing it. The sculpting, the painting, and everything. Let's see if no, that might be a little too much there. Again, that's about sharpening up this edge. This over here too, I think. Again, that's a combo of the indigo and the Van Dyke brown. Yes, I'm gonna make that little chip that goes out of the blade a little bit heavier there. More of this, again, the darker bluish black here in some of these shadow areas. When in doubt, make things darker. That is also in the Book of Wappel. Yeah, AD, the sculpting streams, they're just, it's really hard to show that on camera, right? It is, not that it's necessarily all that easy to show the painting stuff on camera, but holy smokes, trying to show the sculpting, that can really be challenging. I mean, we've done sculpting streams here. It was very fun, but boy, it was really, really difficult. Where's my blending brush there? There's my blending brush. I think I'm going to see if I can't work in this. Turn right on that edge there. And now these guys also need to get some of those edges sharpened up.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my gum.
Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate, I almost thought I saw Sam up there. It's like, hero of the story. Wait a minute, you're the gardener, right? Also a chef. It's like, I do smell something tasty. You don't have hearts there, do you? Not really. That's not really one of my main ingredients. I use potatoes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Semifear. Now, we usually don't have Samwise show up for our usual Gandalf introduction there. But thank you so much again for the follow. Appreciate that. We'll me a couple of dorks in here. Now, of course, that might mean we have an appearance by Grumpy Gandalf, who get not so thrilled about the whole Samwise as the hero of the story. Ah, here's the other place we want to do some of this. Yeah, definitely. Wow, 80, that's an extra level of complexity there, too. No, I gotta let some of that here. I gotta paint some of this in other areas first to kind of get rid of some of the excess there. And here, let me see if I can do some of these. Some of the chips right here. Let the chips fall where they may. There we are. Yeah, Kathy's setup could not have been different than this one is here. It is completely and totally different in pretty much every way possible. Yeah, I know every person they have a whole different type of setup. A little bit more of the dark down there. Now we do have ourselves a little chipping that blade up towards the top too. And continue with my dark in a couple other places. I'm going to try and get a little more of this down here. We'll also try and get some more light on this. Remember, not underneath here. Out here is okay because, well, the light actually is going to reach that. Not be in shadow. And this shows it reasonably well, right again, where he's not leaning over it, it is lighter. So Simifear does sometimes enjoy a potato. You boil him, mash him, put him in a stew. It's like, you can do the same thing with hearts. Really, you can do that. Now that's just harkening back to another a character on the channel here. That was Jack the Werejackal, and he became very enamored of hearts, and I think it was because of these ladies right here from Archvillain. Now, where's no, that's not them. That's not them. Where's our Daughters of Sekhmet? Here, around here somewhere. There they are. So yeah, they had lots of hearts. So he just I gotta reprint those. Now that's a really old release from Archvillain Games. There, need to reprint those. Those were very, very fun. Actually, I just saw my where's my Galadriel diorama that just flashed by here. Oh, here's my there she is. So yeah, Galadriel versus the Necromancer. I've got I have another 54 mil fig like that. I'd like to try that again. Now, thanks so much, Tim, if you appreciate that. Yes. Now, all through November and such, we were painting 1,000 points worth of Ents, all with very sleepy orcs on their bases. Yes, one Ent after another. All these 3D printed Ents right here. We had a blast doing these, but now we have ourselves a 1,000 point. Well, here's Coniferous. And here he is. There's another one of our Ents right there. Definitely looking forward to getting those guys out on the table, and in particular would like to have them smush Dol Guldur for a bit. Now let me take a look-see here. Oh, this one. Let me see, what do we do? Just, yeah, some very simple glyphs on that. It's well, it's a deceptively peaceful, right, Artemichael? Deceptively peaceful. It all seems so serene until somebody gets hurt. Usually an orc. Yeah, we're gonna try and get ourselves something that kind of resembles some glyphs here. And then we might do a little bit of staining on this too. See how that goes. I'm gonna try and darken some of this again. Yeah, let's just throw some more darken. I mean, we can do that. We can certainly do that here. Instead of, again, making things lighter, how's about we go the other way? Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely here. Definitely have to go darker under this. And of course, especially, well, old One Eye, who's now Blossom. Alright, where's there's old One Eye? Yeah, there he is. Used to be, what the, again, this. He's transformed into Blossom. Recoil, well, I was hoping those might be more miniature related things, but I want to take a guess that none of those were, right? Well, either that or is a miniature related thing that was going boom. That is an ancient version. It's probably more ancient than this dude right here. Yeah, I think Photoshop 7 had to be in the early 2000s. And it's driving me nuts. Okay, a page maker, but there was another thing, and I used it for making all of my charts for my baseball game and such. What the heck was it called? It wasn't Graph Maker or something like that. Just again, adding some more of this kind of reddish color here into some of the shadow areas. Boy, oh boy, obviously I don't think that would work on any of the machines that I have now. But it was a very easy way of making charts if you were doing, well, different tables for a game or something like that. I think it was called Table Maker. It might have just been called that. And obviously it was meant to work with PageMaker and stuff. You would make all of your tables there and import those into PageMaker. And people are probably saying, PageMaker? What is that? I think PageMaker came out somewhere around the time of the butter churn or something like that. We'll lighten this up a little more here. I'm gonna go. Fine, we'll go. Whoa, not that far. Okay, yeah, that would be a little too light. There we are. There we go. Actually, Moonlight Minis, have you had a chance to do any just regular watercolors in the last year or so? It's been fun having a chance to do all of the 2D art again here. That is something I never thought I was going to be able to do, but that's been the wonders of Twitch, is being able to do the 2D art again. Yeah, I was thinking that Moonlight Minis. WordPerfect sounds, Work sounds familiar too, but WordPerfect sounds familiar. I don't know if I ever used it, but that does sound familiar. No, 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 not that. This. We'll go with this over here. Let me break this down a little bit too, maybe. Can get some of the indigo into that. I never used Corel Draw. Oh, remember Bryce 3D? That was kind of sad because I only ever got to use that. We had gotten that, and the whole idea was that I could use that to make basically kind of reference style pictures for my paintings. Of course, now you would just use AI or something like that. That's the other thing I have to try and learn how to use is AI, just to go, okay, I need a reference of this. I need an Anubis holding something lit by firelight that's blue, and just put those in there and see what it comes up with, and then we would have, instead of just this stuff, right, things that I can only find on a quick Google search, I could have something a little bit more specific. Yeah, Grand Oracle, I know somebody, now he might still be using that, but he was all about the Corel Draw. That was he loved Corel Draw. I'm guessing that's probably not really around anymore. Some other version or something has taken its place. A little more on my light there. What about this stuff here? It's a ribs. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better now. Do we need to go any darker? Nope, not going to go any darker there. Hey, Hixie, how you doing? Everybody, please give Hixie a follow. Hixie, if you want to share any of your recent stuff there in the chat, please go ahead and do so. So, yeah, and now it must be, oh, it's 111 here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late on the draw there, Surface Tension. Thank you so much, Surface Tension. If you want to share your Shmoom Kings there, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, Moonlight Minis. There was a Dark Sword tutorial video, and there was a very specific reference that I wanted of a black dragon lit by fire or lava or something like that, standing on a mountain, something, whatever. And that was actually, it was the one time I got a chance to do a hangout with Kathy's Discord friends, and they just in like 5 seconds did a whole bunch of those for me. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Moonlight Minis, thank you so much. And everybody, please check out the link that Surface Tension posted. Thanks, Hixie. Yeah, these are really fantastic. They are from Titan Forge. Very ingenious, too, because literally the same pose has 3 different weapons. Hand weapon, great weapon, and then bows. Here, I'm going to show you what the kitties here. So the kitty is the hand weapons. There's the bow, and then there's the great weapon version. But as you can see, it's a very similar with the pose, if not actually identical. And then there's the third shape. That's the crocodile. Once again, I don't have the great weapon yet, but I've got the bow, the hand weapon. So it's basically 9 different scopes with all the different options and such. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm looking. These nails. Oh, and that ring has never been made gold. We gotta make that more of a gold here. So Ixie, I hope that you've been doing well in this new year here. And we want everybody to be doing very well here in this new year. Hopefully something that's a little more mellow, a little less crazy. Let me see if I can't work in some of this lightest yellow here. And we will also be getting to some Bretonnian stuff because, well, Highland Miniatures also has a lot of fantastic Tomb Kings stuff. This is Titan Forge, but Highland Miniatures, oh, and Titan Forge too. Actually, both of them did. I've got Pegasus Knights printed out, and some regular cav too. Probably some questing knights. I mean, they have all the stuff. Obviously, they have the peasant type stuff. I think actually Highland Miniatures, their January release, I think, is peasant cav and such. So please check out the link that Hixie just shared, and again, please give Hixie a follow. Now, so Hixie, when might your next stream be? It's always kind of hard here to know exactly when next stream might be, especially, again, we don't know how much we might be shoveling tomorrow. Well, we shall see how that goes. My guess is that the stream will be more along the later start time tomorrow. Because, I mean, once it is 10 o'clock here, well, sorry. If it's snowing, that's just something that gets shoveled in the morning. So actually going to stream in about an hour, so I thought so. So again, everybody check out the Instagram link that Hixie just shared. Give Hixie a follow so that in an hour or so, you'll be ready and raring to go to watch Hixie doing some streaming. Nah, not a fan of that. So look at that. See how easy the oils make that. That's why this is so chill. You say, well, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. Within a second or two, whatever was there is not there anymore. You don't have to worry about it. Surface tension, I mean, there might be a little bit of that at start, but I have a feeling that, Kings of War is going to be a much more solid system. I think, again, there might be people that are maybe curious or something, but I have a feeling that even if they do try the other thing, they'll head on back to Kings of War. So surface tension, we might actually have some actual cold weather coming here. Maybe by this time on Sunday, it might be -10 Fahrenheit, something like that here. Again, other folks, it's a lot cooler there. Yeah, arid. I'm sure one of those will feel mighty good after whatever snow shoveling that I'm doing over the next day or two or whatever. That should be very nice. Again, may not be quite so sweated up if we're not shoveling the street. So yeah, I mean, it'll be the usual, walk over to the store. I know I've walked to the store in -10 degrees. That's no big deal. Definitely have the gear for it. It's only a block and a half away anyways. No big deal. Now there's some folks they're getting like the -50 or something like that. That is that's getting pretty intense. So surface tension might be in the low 40s, upper 30s there. I mean, it is January after all. I might actually get a chance to run the humidifiers, and they're warm air humidifiers. I haven't run those in quite well. We were running them for Kathy because that really helped her out to have the that warm, more humid air going, especially in the wintertime. So Moonlight Minis is going to be down to 17 there. I know again for I think it's for what the who are the chefs playing again? Oh, Cleveland. I think it's going to be Kansas City and Cleveland. I think it's supposed to be -5 for their game on Saturday. Thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for sharing the link to the GoFundMe page. Again, all the folks that have contributed to that in the last couple of months, that's been a huge help. Again, with all the ongoing stuff here, so it is appreciated. Surface Tension says that in Wales, they have humidity. The way Armored Wolf has been hoarding all of the snow, it seems like Armored Wolf is going to be sharing some of that snow here over the next little bit. Again, so far I've spent 10 minutes with the broom. That has been the sum total of shoveling this winter. Hey there, Bithron. How you doing? I know you got your Insta links that you can share, but hopefully all of your profiles and such that you've been working on, that's still very fun, and you still got a good run going on those guys. So Hack and Slash, that is a little bit frosty for Southern California, I'm pretty sure. That's probably not something that happens too often. So is this what did they call them? The Arctic, not Arctic blast, an Arctic where it just drops down. Right, the whole Earth, then it just kind of collapses down much further south than normal. We haven't had one of those in a while, so I don't remember what it's called. But it was... what in the world was that called? And again, it was something where a huge dome of Arctic air, and it's just... and it's much further south than usual. Not just kind of your usual little... where some Arctic air kind of drips a little bit further south. Remember we had a bunch of those, I want to say in the 2018s, 2019, something like that. Or maybe they were more in 2020, I don't know. Now, I wonder now, is Calgary sort of somewhat shielded from that, or is Calgary also kind of getting nuked, or is it just kind of more your open plains parts of Alberta there? Let's see if I can get me a little more light on this skin tone over here. Over here too, and some reflected light on that gold. Now I'm going to actually come back with some darker Prussian blue here. So some Prussian blue here, and we'll make that. I'm going to work on a couple of these edges over here. Let me see if we can do this. Yeah, Bitran, I was thinking the plains of Alberta, right? Not a lot to block those winds and such. Ooh, we still need to get more of a light over here. Okay, well, that's good to know. Again, the halberd is in the way this time around. Wouldn't like that in the other one. So without the wind chill, -32. And again, wind chill, for folks that maybe aren't used to what wind chill is a thing. Well, we were talking about that, right? Surface tension. And actually, Recoil, yeah, well, Recoil's sister, we were talking about that. Recoil's sister in Canada land there also is a wee bit familiar with the concept of wind chill and how real it is. Here, we'll do that. Now here again, we're not going to get anything like that. It's going to be, I believe maybe Sunday night might be the coldest night at -11, either that or Saturday. I mean, not that that's toasty, but that also is not like Alberta either. Now, who knows? There could be a -30 wind chill stuck in there. Now, Bithron, I was going to ask you, remember with the summer how warm it was? I was wondering if Alberta was also super toasty in the summertime. Now, here I'm going to try and get me a little bit of this blue over here. There we go. So look at that. It was a weird hard edge on that. Up here, pretty good. Don't need to mess around with that. But, oh, here's another place here. Let me get a little bit. Whoops, not too much. There we are, right on the end of that. There we go. Again, so that's all about creating a little darker edge there. Because that's the thing, obviously, here. And, of course, again, for folks that are getting ready for Adepticon here, be prepared for anything. Be prepared for mid to upper 80s. Be prepared for mid 20s. And snow. Because it's March here and pretty much anything goes. Not going to do any of that down there. We're good over here. We did get some of the Prussian blue on this inside there. Now this is, I'm going to try and get some of the, more of our base color on this here. Let's get this, so looking to reflect some of this up here. So some of the kind of sandstone type color here. It's got a little bit of the Terra Rosa in it. Not a value change. This is all about, it's a color change here. Maybe a little lighter with that. Not even here. Yeah, I'll just have to break that down with some of our thinner here. Let's break this down. Oh, Bithron, I printed out the War Sphinx from OPR. It is definitely smaller than the GW one. Now, I don't really know what difference that makes as far as, because I don't even remember how many guys are supposed to go in the Howdah. I thought it was 5. But that is printed out. I'll try to get that cured tonight. And then that might be something that I do as a tutorial series. Yeah, Bithron, I'll have to look and see, because, well, and it's still going to have to go on a 100 by 50 millimeter base. And as I look at this, you'll see how he fills up the whole thing. Right here, I mean, his feet pretty much go from end to end of that base. I think the new one is not going to fill up that quite that much of the base there. I don't think so anyway. Yeah, it's 120 something there. Surface tension, definitely time to march with the Hound. So yeah, Bithron, when I actually get it on that 100 by 50 base, then I'll get a chance to see, okay, how much smaller is it really? It's just been so long. It's been 10 years now since the original War Sphinx that I painted, so maybe I'm not quite remembering it in the same way. So who knows? It could be just fine size-wise. And really, nobody's going to know unless they too have painted the old War Sphinx, which scary to think that a lot of the kits in that box were old 10 years ago when I did my Tomb Kings. So yes, if those kits seem very different, if you get that starter box there and they say, wow, these are very different from the kits I'm used to from GW, just, yeah, that's how they, those are a long time. So yeah, Bitron, it might just be, again, having to fit the 5 guys in the Howdah. Now, is it the Great Beast of Golgoroth, right, Bitron? It goes on, to me, an insanely tiny base for something that's supposed to hold 10 orcs. And it's weird. I do think that the Great Beast of Golgoroth, it goes on a base that's the same size the one I did the Drake on. Remember the Cave Drake for the Mori army? Now, oh, yeah, actually, I did see, remember we were talking about base sizes and stuff? Uh, Mini War Gaming, they did a video, and sure enough, they said, yeah, stuff needs to go on 25s. There's no more 20 millimeter bases anymore. I guess they're doing something, Bithron. It's something where you can put your 20 millimeter bases in there, but the movement tray separates them, and then the overall footprint is now the size of a 25, so you wouldn't have to rebase your figures. And they also changed something about the 3-inch blast template or whatever, where you're not actually necessarily putting it on the unit itself like you used to. You're actually putting it, well, technically sort of like a blank movement tray. So yeah, and they even have something where you can take your round based figures and put them kind of like a Song of Ice and Fire. However, that all falls apart when it comes to oval cavalry bases. And yeah, they have no idea what they're going to do there, but at least if you have 20 millimeter square bases, you can get these movement trays that will spread those out. So, and I think they will have them available as STL files. So they will print them for you, but you can, I think on their My Mini Factory, get those. And I've never printed anything from Mini War Gaming, so don't know what their files are like. I'm going to get me some more of my light back in here on my Prussian blue. Let's do this here. Take some of this. Breaking it down with the thinner, but not so much that it becomes a pin line wash. And that has got to go along the edge of some of these inset gems here. And again, it's a tricksy thing to get to because of the halberds sitting there. Or great weapon, sorry, really should call it a great weapon. So yeah, Bithron, I I only have seen 2. I know there's way more out there. I've only seen the 2 vids with Old World in it. And so again, it's not really something I'm going to be doing, so not a big deal. I need to get some more of my darkening. I'm going to try the Terra Rosa, some of the Indian yellow. Is that going to be it? No, I might get some of the Perline red in there too. Now, is this dark enough? Let me see here. Let's see, is that going to do it? Not quite. I will get some of the asphaltum in there, I think. A little bit of the asphaltum, and again, that great weapon is kind of right in the way of where I want to get to with this. Now, there is no sub-assembly with it. All of these prints are one-piece prints. Every single one of these guys is all just one piece. As you can see, again, right there, just one piece. Even this was 4 arms, the torso, so 5, and then the legs here, so only 6 pieces. And boy, that glued together in about 2 seconds. It was fantastic. That was so much easier to deal with. Alright, I'll let some of the green work its way into this. Under his arm there. Let me try and get a little more of a scowl for him here. Hopefully not too much. This needs to be straightened out. That was too wavy of a line for something that's metal. And definitely a very straight surface. There's another thing where that kind of just went a little bit wonky off to the side. These wrappings over here. I don't want to get too much dark on these, but I'm also trying to basically sort of stain them a little bit here. Just as I paint this, all I keep thinking is the mold line that will be running right through all of this stuff that you would have to be trying to file away. Hashtag no mold lines, right, Grant Oracle? What about this thing here? Did I get my dirt? I guess I know. I'm going to try and get... Yeah, we'll try to get a little more dark around that. Van Dyke brown, maybe some of the violet. Van Dyke violet. And then I'll see if I can get a little bit of light, reflected light on his this ring here. So we'll put in our dark first. Then we'll see if we can get the reflected light there. Yeah, Grand Oracle and the support nibs, well, they're really pretty clever at hiding those, aren't they? They are very clever at making those, well, maybe not necessarily invisible, but really hard to see. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side here again. Give that Prussian blue here. Fine, we'll go with this. Go with this. Sorry I don't have the... I wish I had the Tyranid miniatures to show you there on screen. Grand Oracle, that is some wild stuff there. With the interference colors and everything. Now Grand Oracle, I don't believe that Printing Goes Ever On has released the Halfling... I almost said Halfling Organizer. No, the Halfling Customizer. I don't think they've released that. And I think Diwali still has some files that they owe us too. Now Kurzlik, it was weird printing up more Kander stuff, that's for sure. Okay, and we got that. We won't be seeing those on stream for quite some time. Wait, I'm gonna take a quick look at one of my other guys here. did we do? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna try and get me a little bit more of the indigo mixed with the white here in a few places. I'm gonna try and give me a little bit of a, there we go, right along that edge there. Anything, I'm gonna darken up this here. Let me get the indigo violet going again, I think. Yeah, it's definitely not what you normally expect to be doing, right, at a baseball game. I was at a baseball game and a snowball fight broke out. I'm gonna do the same over here. That's actually, here, let me get these claws lighter again here. I'm gonna just go with something like this here. So yeah, Armored Wolf was at was it 82 inches of snow or something like that between November and December? And it didn't stay around very long, did it? It was there, it got dropped, and then just wiped away, and then came back, and then wiped away again. I'm just kind of used to what it kind of used to be is that, okay, you would have snow start to accumulate over weeks and days, whatever. And after a while, as I would walk to the store, I'd have to walk in different paths. Because it was either walk in the 1.5 foot deep snow, or you walk in the tiny little path that was cleared out. And then when that melted, it was like, wow, I can actually walk in all these different places now. Yeah, I don't want that to be as light as what we did here on this cloth. So it only goes so far with that. I will try to throw a little more light here on some parts of the ribcage, especially the parts closest to where the light is up here. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll do some more of our light on his shoulder there. Yeah, that works. What is that stupid leaf there? I guess it is that leaf. I'm gonna see. Maybe I will try some of this here. This crazy yellowish green. That's the phthalo green and some of the Hansa yellow here. I'm just gonna break this down a little bit. Because that got so grayish. I think we kind of lost the green there. So we'll try and bring this back a little bit here. To, you know what? When in doubt, make things darker. Let's do that. Let's do that. Phthalo green and then maybe some of the asphaltum there. Well, that, yeah, instead of sap green, how's about phthalo green and asphaltum? Because, well, the phthalo green, remember that's a staining color. More and more. It was like 1984, where one of the characters is a guy that he's all proud because his achievements are eliminating words from the dictionary. It's like here we eliminate colors. We eliminate colors because just too many of them. Alright, I think we got that green in there now. Over this, we've got the reflection of that. We got some of the blue there. That might be too pinkish. I'm going to see if I can get a little more of the yellow into that. Yeah, the naphthol scarlet. A little bit of the more of the Hansa yellow. Nah, there we are. Yeah, it was just a little too pink right there. And the whole idea again is whatever color is here. And I'm actually going to try and get some of that down here too. We have a lot of the pink there. Let's get a little more yellow. And of course, we don't want to go too light on this section here because, well, he's sort of in shadow there. Right? It's in shadow because he's standing right over the top of that. This thing here, we're going to make more of a transition there. Yeah, okay. We kind of had this really intense light and then a really intense and no real transition in between. Now we've got a little something more there. Okay. And that, I think we'll tone that down too. Got our really intense light here. Never did they try. I think these are supposed to be metal here. It's kind of how I've been treating. Ooh, reflected light. Yeah, I think you can see it here. We're going to get some reflected light along this edge here. Blending brush. So again, paint the brush has no paint on it here. Spread that out. It's a hard to reach area. Can't really see it very well. Don't have to, because I can just chuck some paint on there. Take the blending brush and then just kind of get rid of it. Anything else here? Sure, a little bit there. This finger over here, we will take once again our indigo violet. Too much. Here we go. There was really no separation between the kind of the claw and the finger itself. Maybe a little more dark on that. And what about this thing here? We have just a whole series of mid-tones and then a light. We never really did have our dark there again. So that gold light, then a dark, then the reflected light down here again. Darken up his elbow a little bit. Maybe this. Down here, again, the indigo. Under these two, yeah, let's get a little dark under the spine there. I'm gonna see here about, well, the nose, obviously it's somewhat skeletal here. We have to, yeah, so instead of an actual nose, they're just kind of again sort of like a skeleton here in some areas. Oh, okay, now that matches what this side now matches this side a little bit better. I didn't realize there was that much difference between them. And I think we're okay on this. I'm just gonna treat it as hair, sort of. Let me see, I'm gonna try it also through a little, we did this on the other side, there we go. So I do like our, again, that is the Prussian blue there, we got the phthalo green over there. Aha, I knew there was something I was forgetting over here. We gotta take our, some of our yellow here. Speaking of reflected light, now we will hit that with some more of just the fast matte white. Let that mix together here. I know you can't really see it, but there. See it right in there. We needed to get a little bit of light in there. I was looking at that going, there is absolutely nothing there at all. Now, this thing in here, maybe if I hold it this way, I'll be able to get at it. Pretty light here. Hopefully not too light. But that's what's kind of holding all this stuff onto his belt. And then we need to get, I'm going to twist it this way a little bit so maybe you can see it. We have no edge on any of this. Now there's some.